Snoogs, you are going to tell us...
Who said that?
That doesn't... Oh, see, I hesitated then, because I've said that a few times. Tell us who the said that, but you're not actually telling us who the said that yet. You tell us that at the end of the show, so me saying that doesn't make sense. Anyway, tell us a line. Give us a quote.
Give you a line?
Yes.
So, do you come here often?
Yes, I get arrested for it several times.
All right. A sword wields no strength unless the hand that hold it has courage.
Oh, I've heard that one. So what's the line again? I think I've heard that.
A sword wields no strength unless the hands that holds it has courage. Would you like some thinking music?
Jesus. That's too distracting. Oh, I want so desperately to know one of these. I think I've heard it.
I don't actually know this one.
I don't know if you would have, Lucas.
Maybe I might not have played it, but I've heard it because I do a lot of like Googling for,
porn. It's not from porn.
No, I Google popular lines from games for the podcast, because I get what's that sound all the time. So I may have found that one once upon a time. I have heard it. I don't know. We'll find out who the said that at the end of the show.
Yes, stay tuned for the reveal.
All right, let's start the show. This is episode 221, and today is it's not Monday, is it? What day is it? It is Monday.
I hope so, otherwise I've lost a day.
Oh, no, it is Monday. Today is Monday, the 9th of July, 2018. Welcome to the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast. I am your host, Lucas, and here with me is my co-host and very good friend, Snoogs. How are you, mate?
Good. First thing off the bat, though,
What?
Happy birthday, Mum.
Oh, is it your mum's birthday?
It is.
Oh, happy birthday, Mrs. Snoogs. Well, no,
Happy
that's
birthday.
not right. Is Mrs. Snoogs your mum or your wife?
No, that's not Mrs. Snoogs. Mrs. Snoogs is in the next room.
Yeah,
Shaking her head
okay.
at me.
No, technically, my wife isn't Mrs. Grejio. She's Remutha. So.
Oh, that's really confusing. Happy birthday, Pat's mum.
Yeah, there you go. You could have said Snoogs' mum as well.
Snoogs' mum.
Snoogs' mum. Oh, dear. All right, well, anyway, also here with us after a much-needed break, and the hard-working mother and gamer, Remutha. You're back. Welcome.
I'm back. I made it.
How you doing?
Oh, much better. Much better. I'm revitalized and I'm ready to go again.
You sound it. I'll say that
Yes,
much.
yeah.
Last but not least, we have the guy that can recite all dialogue lines from Fallout 3, but not Fallout 4, Grejio. How are ya?
At that point in time, I literally said, I only have to do one to prove him wrong. But I can't even think of one. So, let's just go with that. I'm good.
I wasn't going to ask you to prove it.
No. But you know me, I just like to whack it in there if I can.
I know, you've got 3 children.
I know. I should stop whacking it in there, that's the problem.
Dear. I reckon if you had a PlayStation 4, you wouldn't have that many children.
I do have a PlayStation 4.
Oh, yeah, but you didn't before.
Oh, by the time the third one came around, I did.
Well, anyway. But the point is, you'd have had more games to play. Oh, smash burnt.
I think we're proving that PS4 is not an effective contraceptive.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, PS4's
give a gamer nerd a lady, and all of a sudden, babies happen.
Well, yeah, maybe, but it could have a weird sort of effect on people, seeing as though PlayStation 4's kind of turning into a...
Ooh.
Oh.
Hang on, I got in trouble for dropping the C-bomb once, and you just dropped it there.
Yeah, but he's in control of the edit.
Yeah, I'm the one that does the edit.
I remember the first time I said it, everyone's like, it was like, chirp, 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 chirp. It's like, you actually said that. Oh, my goodness. And then you just like, bam, you're just out there with it.
Oh, dear. But anyway. Kazakal's in the chat listening. Hello, mate. He says, oh, shit, I'm home in time. Well done. And he says, hello, parents. I think Pat and I are his gay surrogate parents without being gay or surrogate. He said chunt. Yes, that is what I said. Anyway.
No, I'm pretty sure he said...
Oh! I've opened up the floodgates now, haven't I? One does it and the rest just follow on in. But anyway.
Just lining up to take the plunge.
That's right, Kazza. Damn it, more editing. That's right. But anyway, before we start, here is this week's show in preview. First up, we're going to do video game discussion. That's no secret. Then we're going to do gaming alphabet. Hopefully you remember that one. The topic is going to be video game characters. So start thinking, but no writing them down. That's cheating. Then we'll do What's That Sound? Then Tech Headland, and this week in Tech Headland we'll be talking about HDR. What is it, and is it any good? And then after that we'll finish the show with a round of last words. So let's get straight into it. Video game discussion.
Quake Champions.
Oh, did you play more Quake Champions, did you?
I did play more Quake Champions, and once again, I owned. Oh, it's all coming back, those teenage years, those Twitch reflexes. They're all coming back to me now, and I might be changed. I might have to go and get a bigger graphics card so I can play Rainbow Six on here. Anyway, Quake Champions, I've been playing a few bits and pieces of that, but I've also got some updates for it. So the Morton Falls, which is the latest zone of the Dreamlands to sear its way into your awareness. It's new map for the Dimension of the Doomed, filled with rich scenery that emphasises the verticality of its setting.
Verticality, I like that word.
Yes. I haven't had it in the rotation as yet. I believe it came out late last week and I played early last week. But, yeah, nice little update that's come out for that at the moment. Still, lots of fun to be had. I'm really enjoying it, probably more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I
keyboard and
enjoy
mouse.
But see,
yeah.
Having a little bit of success in a game like that makes it more enjoyable. Like I can keep complaining about Battle Royale games and getting sick of them. It's because I've never won any of them. And the only times that I have won is because I'm being carried by team members. There's only so many times I can be beat down and lose before I lose interest. That's me.
Well, speaking of Battle Royale, what about, what was it, Realm Royale?
Yeah, we played Realm Royale, that one last night, didn't we?
That one last night, yeah. Realm Royale is a free-to-play alpha on Steam at the moment. And runs nice, plays nice. I was getting a constant 60 frames out of it. And, yeah, it's got a few little quirks on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I liked it. It's still a battle royale, so it's not easy. We just got our asses handed to us, really. But I like the idea of when you click the stick in to run, you actually just spawn a horse, and you gallop across the land, which makes it a little bit quicker, a little bit more convenient and cool. No parachuting now; you just free fall and do a superhero landing when you land. I like that.
It literally is a superhero landing.
Yeah.
It's straight out of Deadpool. Brilliant.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
And weapons have like a little bit of magic to them. You can also have superpowers, all that sort of stuff that are on cooldowns. It's a good battle royale game. It's very reminiscent of Fortnite. Very like the graphic style is very Fortnite.
Yeah, feels very similar. And when you get downed, you turn into a chicken.
Yes, that is an important part. Explain how that works. That's pretty cool.
So when you get dropped, instead of needing to be revived by someone or flat out dying, you have a chance to actually get respawned by yourself. So you turn into this chicken with a big white flag that runs around with a little chicken song playing. And if you can stay alive for 30 seconds, you can respawn yourself. So it pretty much gets rid of those long-distance shots that are, flukes or whatever. It's pretty much a very up-close and personal game because of that.
Yeah, so if you get sniped from halfway across the map and you can find some cover, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to respawn. Now, I wasn't lucky enough to actually get a chance where I could respawn, so I don't know how much health you come back with or anything like that. But I think that's a neat little addition to the game.
And yes, Kaz, they are flukes for me. I will not deny that.
What's flukes for you?
About the cross the map fluke shot. Kaz has had a rip at me. Flukes for you, maybe.
Have you seen Kaz play?
No.
He's terrible.
Oh, we've played some Fortnite with him.
He's terrible. He's no good. See? He's agreeing. He says he's trash.
Trash.
No, he's a lot better than me. I'm only joking. We played Black Ops 3 custom matches again. Seeing as though we've both got Black Ops 3 now. And once again, because we get owned in multiplayer, mind you, we don't do too badly in multiplayer, but we have a lot more fun sort of playing just amongst ourselves in some private matches. We had Red Dragon jumped in with us again as well last night. And playing custom matches this week instead of gun game, we did just normal free-for-all, but we had like 10 bots joining us in the game. So it was basically, wasn't necessarily us versus each other. It was more just a race to kill as many bots as we could to get to the score limit first. That's what it was.
No, there was a few times where I started to just disregard the bots and was just looking out for you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I'm sure you were doing it as well.
No, I was going for the win, and that's why I won most of the time.
Yeah.
Team player, Lucas. Team player.
No. It was fairly even across the board again. Where I won 1 or 2, you won 1 or 2, and Red Dragon won 1 or 2. It was really cool.
Definitely, it was a lot of fun. Actually, I liked the. I actually got to try a few of the. What do they call it? When you get the score runs, like the UAV and the.
Oh,
shit.
The score streaks?
Yeah, the streaks, that's right.
Or kill streaks, whatever they're called.
Kill streaks, yeah.
I
got to try a few of those ones out, yeah. It was good fun.
Yeah.
Score streaks in Black Ops 3, yeah. That were a bit of fun as well.
Oh, before I forget as well, the poll of the week. I've been putting up these polls on the Facebook page, and this latest one has grabbed quite a fair bit of attention. 375 votes was the last time I checked it. And that was asking the question, should Sony give in to consumer request and allow crossplay? And a resounding 87% of people said yes, and while 13% said no. And there was quite a few comments in there. I wanted people to explain their reasoning, if you did or you didn't want it. And look, there's obviously a lot of arguments for having crossplay, and there was quite a few as well for not having it.
I was one of the 13%.
Were you? Well, would you like to give us your reason why no?
Well, before the show, when I said that I had a rant, that's where it's coming from.
Oh, go for it.
All right, so everything is blown up about this whole crossplay, and while I don't condone the way that Sony is going about it, I also completely agree with them. I don't see the need for crossplay. If crossplay was a thing, like looking at it from a business point of view, if crossplay was a thing, I would not have an Xbox sitting in front of me. Mind you, at the moment, it's pissing me off that badly that I can't even look at the damn thing. It's still, a commercial decision that was made by me to purchase it, which therefore gave the sale to Microsoft. I then purchased Microsoft-specific titles to play on it, as well as some titles that I've bought on both the PlayStation and the Xbox, so that I can play with another group of people. predominantly, Grejio and Rem. If crossplay was there, I wouldn't have bothered with that. The other big thing is, everyone's jumping up and down about crossplay, and at the moment it's supported by 2 games that I can find, which is Minecraft and Fortnite. That's the only thing that's, everyone's jumping up and down with. There's no Call of Duty. A lot of games that are esports games. Yes, Fortnite has just become an esport game, but the big players in the esport arena do not have crossplay. And saying that something's crossplay between an Xbox and a PC, they're kind of just wanking because it's just playing with yourself. They're both the same format. I don't see the value of it. In a competitive market, if we allow crossplay, then there is no more competition. That's ultimately what it gets to. Sony and Microsoft, to keep getting the high level that we are getting out of these both companies, and to keep getting them to be striving to the next thing, they need to be competing against each other, not playing together. I think everyone just needs to calm down. It's got nothing to do with, Sony not wanting to be pro-consumer or this, that, or the other. It's got to do with the fact that they're protecting their brand. Microsoft can go and tout that, yes, we've got crossplay with PC and this, that, and the other. Like I said, no one cares. It's the same format. It's owned by the same company. It's not like they're crossplay with friggin' Mac. That's what it is. There's obviously should be a few changes to those rules where certain things you can have crossplay. Like, for instance, a company like Epic that is running their own servers that you've got to go and sign into their server to actually play the game, whether on any console. Maybe you can have some provision for that, but for stuff like Call of Duty or, Rainbow Six or any of those bigger ones that a lot of people are playing, then I don't see the need for it.
I think the biggest issue here is people are getting annoyed with the fact that it's just a flat-out no, not having any part to do with it, not being slightly malleable at all.
Like I said, I don't agree with how they're doing it. They're not providing a reason. It's just literally, the finger and the raspberry. I reckon everyone just needs to get off the bandwagon. It's not going to happen. There's no need for it to happen. If it happens, I see it diluting the competition that we have, and therefore, we're not going to get the better products. Microsoft and Sony. Well, we've got to have cross-platform, so they've got to be able to talk to each other. So there's no point in that one being more powerful than that one, or this one being able to run these many games so much better, or
No, I disagree with that. There is no reason why there is no reason why cross-platform games would need parity. There is no reason because
we've already proven that between the Xbox and the Switch. They're chalk and cheese.
And iOS as well, and Android. Yeah. You can play with your smartphone in the exact same game of Fortnite. Yes, Fortnite is the big catalyst here because it's the one game that does across everything except for the PlayStation. You don't need parity. There's absolutely no need for parity.
No. I'm not saying that you need it. But
why would crossplay cause a lack of competition?
Because the competition goes. People,
why would it
Sony
go?
and Microsoft.
Why?
Well, why is there an Xbox One X? Because Microsoft wanted to come out and outdo Sony.
That doesn't change if
people aren't buying both sides of it, whether you be a Sony person or a Microsoft person. The One X was created not only to appease the people who had the Xbox One, it was also to make the One X and the Xbox brand once again look more appealing to all those people that were over on the Sony platform.
I don't agree, and here's why. The fact is, if we had crossplay, your argument is that Xbox wouldn't have bothered creating a new console to beat the PS. But if I have crossplay where I can play with whoever I like on whatever system, and I want the most powerful system, I just would have gone and bought a PlayStation Pro. Screw my Xbox.
Yeah.
Which means Sony gets my sales, regardless of who I can play against, because I want the best console. And so Xbox, so Microsoft, if they want to keep their people And because all of a sudden the competition is actually now more fierce because it doesn't matter which console you buy.
Yeah.
So the point of differential is actually a lot more now. All of a sudden they have to work harder to keep their market.
Yeah, I agree. I think
because it's not just about where the group goes, it's the individual. They're not pandering to a group anymore. They're pandering to the individual.
Yeah, I think crossplay would make it more competitive.
Yes, I agree. I think...
I don't see it.
Because like I said, at the moment, once you have the advantage at, say, the beginning of a new life cycle for the console, the majority of people go, oh, that's the better console. And they all move over there. And there's a large group, except for the hardcores that want to stick with. So you've got your voters. You've got those that always vote Xbox and those that always vote PlayStation. And then you've got all the marginal people in the middle, all the fence sitters. And they just play no matter which way it goes, they'll always play in the best system. And so at the beginning of a life cycle, the best console will win that group of people.
Yeah, 100%.
So then they have that group of people. And then for Microsoft to get those people back, have to create a console that's better again. Now, if it doesn't matter, all of a sudden, you can go either way, and you can play, and you have a lot of stayers in that big group because they don't want to leave their friends so the console has to be super good to drag them over. But then the point is, once you take away that, and you can play with whoever you like, it's easier to drag people across with a new console because they don't have to leave their friends. So the only way for Microsoft to make money is to make a better console, and they'll buy it. It'll be bought more readily because people don't have to worry about leaving their friends.
And I think the biggest issue for Sony not jumping on board is because so many people want this. You know, whether it's, you know, the for and against arguments are there and they're solid, but the thing is, the trend at the moment, people are really enjoying this whole crossplay with the Switch and the iPhones and the Xbox and PC. If Sony don't, and there's 87% of the people out there that really want it, how's that going to go going forward when a new console comes out? You know, you're obviously going to get your diehards. You're going to get your diehards that'll be, I'm getting a PlayStation, Xbox is shit, no worries. But there's a lot of people that are, you know, fence sitters that want to get the best product that'll just go, oh, well, the Xbox seems like the better deal because I can play with everybody.
The dev situation is a different argument again. They have a different agenda when it comes to crossplay. So for devs, I'm thinking this is kind of, see, I get why it's not good for Sony. I get why it's not good for Microsoft, really, because like I said, the competition becomes harder, right? And it's okay for Microsoft at the moment because they're looking to have the leverage at the moment, right? Which is why they're all for it. Just like way back when PlayStation was all for it, when Microsoft was on top. With devs, though, depending on how crossplay comes out and plays out, and this will have a lot to do with how the game's developed, there will always be a group of people that will play a game on multiple consoles, regardless of what it is, multiple systems, I should say, not consoles, regardless of the fact that they have crossplay, just because they'll have ways of, they'll want to be able to play it wherever. So they'll probably have a copy on their Switch so they can play it that wherever they, you know, when they're walking, sitting on the loo. And then they've got an Xbox or a PlayStation where they can sit comfortably in their chair and play it. And then they'll have an iOS version that they can play on the train to and from work. For devs, they turn around and they go, we just sold 3 copies instead of 1.
Yeah.
Because people will want to have their profile across those 3, but you won't be able to just buy one game. You'll have to buy it 3 times across those 3 different systems to play it. So for devs, and this is why Bethesda's on this argument, this side of the argument, because they're turning around and going, hey, we can sell this game 3 times over instead of once.
Yeah.
Let's bang this home to Sony.
Yeah, and
let's get on site and let the consumer do half the work for us.
Yeah, if there's anything Bethesda likes, it's making customer buy their game multiple times.
Exactly.
And they're pretty good at it.
So like that's why the devs are on board with this, and that's why they're like, yeah, cool, let's do this.
Well,
You know?
Ram, that's actually a really good point, because with regards to crossplay, the way that I would like it to work, and I have no qualms whatsoever in supporting both Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
They're both made good products, that's decent, even though the Xbox is pissing me off. It's decent product. It's I'm happy to put money into, my pastime, my favorite pastime. The thing that I would like to see from crossplay is if I have a copy of Rainbow Six Siege on the PS4. I have played 150, 200 hours on it and unlocked operators, have renown, have everything sitting there. I will quite happily go and buy a copy on the Xbox to go and play with those friends.
But you want your progress to come with you.
Is what my progress to come with me.
Yeah.
And
even that would be a nice little compromise, wouldn't it?
That would be, that would be perfect for me.
Yes, I think that's the optimum for what we're talking about here. That's where devs want to go. A shared profile across, but you still have to buy the game in every,
Just quickly before we do have to move on, but a nice little solution to the dev problem is do it with free-to-play games, because the devs aren't going to miss out on selling copies of the game, and people are still going to buy their microtransactions across all platforms. We'll move on from that one. It's a very interesting topic at the moment. It's very hot. A lot of people talking about it. 375 votes on that on the Facebook page. I think there's a couple more days left on it. So by the time you're listening to this, other than the people listening live, you will probably won't be able to cast your vote if you haven't already. But anyway, it's there. iOS games. I've got a couple of iOS games to share that I played this week. Silly Walks is a neat little game.
Is it a Monty Python game? If not, I don't want to hear about
it. Is there a giant fish?
I don't know the reference, but no, you start off playing as a little pineapple, and he walks really funny. And
of course you do.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Silly Walks stars a pineapple.
It kind of looks like the setting is kind of like I Am Toast, if you have seen that. But you tap the screen to switch legs, and he sort of shuffles across, and you've just got to pick up sugar cubes and knock cans over on tabletops, and you got to get to your berries which are kept in a cage at the end of the level and free them. Not a bad little free-to-play game. Check out that one, Silly Walks.
Is that where your berries are kept, Lucas?
That is exactly in a cage, yes, in my wife's hand.
Down the end of the wall.
The other free-to-play game was Twisty Arrow, which was it's a really cool, easy to play, tricky to sort of master game that's just like a quick fix game where there's like a circle which spins, and you've got to get the amount of arrows on the outside of the circle. So you've got 365 degrees.
Yes.
Yeah, you know the one?
I've seen it. Yes, I've seen this.
And you tap the screen to drop in an arrow.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously if you hit another arrow, you lose. It's a cool little fun game. Check that one out anyway. Twisty Arrow, free to play on. Well, look, I know it's on iOS. I don't have an Android. Let me know if it's there or not. Last, what do you call them? Smartphone game, mobile game that I've got is Dead Island Survivors. So how about that? So it's kind of like a tower defense game, free to play on your mobile phone. Looks really cool. Kind of reminds me of that Dead Island Survived Dead Island. Oh, there was like a sort of an MMO RPG that sort of went nowhere on PC. It kind of reminds me of that. But I saw a tweet, this How to Survive from Kazakyle. No, I don't think that's what it was called. But anyway, I saw a tweet this week as well about Dead Island Survivors, because the Dead Island Twitter account tweeted out this new mobile game.
It's fired back up again, hasn't it?
Yeah, and Dead Island Epidemic, that's the one. Thank you, Kaza. Yeah, good lad. Thank you for being our Google standby guy. A person named George asked via Twitter. Don't be a quitter. Twitter. He said on their Dead Island Survivors tweet said, "What about Dead Island 2?" And they replied back saying, "Dead Island 2 is still in development, and we will share more on this at a later stage." That's good news. It's good news.
Is it though? Is it really, when that's the same thing they've been saying for about 4 years?
No, it's more than I'm getting for Splinter Cell.
Good point.
Does this go back to the E3 conversation about surprise first reveal?
As excited as you are for this, I'm just going to put one thing out there. Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem?
It was 4 years late, and look how bad it was.
Yeah, but that's Duke Nukem. That's always going to be rubbish. That had its time.
But there's a good rubbish and a bad rubbish, and it was bad rubbish.
This won't be a Duke Nukem. It won't. I will promise that. The only thing is, I saw a comment as well, and I kind of do feel that this has got some merit, that I feel like Dead Island 2 doesn't really have its place anymore with Dying Light. Dying Light is essentially the spiritual successor to the Dead Island series, and I think Dying Light was 10 times the game Dead Island was. I feel like
Dead Island more comedic. I've never played one, so I'm kind of flying blind here.
Yes and no. It's serious, but I think the comedic parts came from just poor acting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. It's not tongue in cheek or satire or anything like that. No, I think it was just some poor choices for voice actors.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. No, it was serious. But the thing is, it's almost exactly the same game, but Dying Light just did it 1,000 times better, and especially with that parkour system as well, it was so much better. So, as much as I'm happy for a Dead Island 2, I mean, I obviously don't know what it's going to be like, because I'm sure it will be completely remade from the one that I played. But it's good news. It's coming.
Is that the one with the preview with the guy running along the boardwalk and all the zombies and shit behind you?
Yeah. The bomb man about to blow up. Bomb man about to blow up. Yeah, that's that one. Yeah,
that's that one. All right.
Just like the original Dead Island, it was just a pure CG trailer. It's got nothing to do with the gameplay.
No,
it look nothing like that. It's just an ad.
Well, I played Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain this week for the first time.
Yeah, very good.
First thing, I put it in, started playing it, and it made me create an avatar, which then it completely ignored, which was my first what the fuck moment in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then I remembered just how long the prelude first level dragged on for, because I remember it being a demo and going, wow, this is epically long. And
is that in the hospital?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
It's slowly catching on fire, and you're like, the flaming dude chasing you, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And this is like, wow, it's trying to paint a picture of where the story's going, and you're like, all right, this is semi-fantastical, it's, I caveat here, I actually haven't played the other Metal Gears. I think I played Sons of the Patriot. I played a little bit of that, but that's pretty much my experience of Metal Gear, and I felt really bad about that because it's a good game. So I decided I would give this a crack, especially seeing as though it was one of the Xbox games with gold things a couple of months, and I picked it up and I just hadn't played it. So I finally sat down and played it. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'm getting an idea of where this is going. There's kind of this military feel with this supernatural thing tied into it. And you, without spoiling too much, it's the first level for Pete's sake. You get chased out of this hospital after this dude that's on fire chases you, and a chick in a straitjacket and gas mask that has telekinetic powers floats along and helps him try and catch you, but somehow seems to fail, and you escape. And then next thing you know, you're in Afghanistan during the sort of Cold War, and you're now doing, side missions to build a base, and all the fantastical supernatural stuff just seems to disappear.
Yes.
You're like, all right.
Spoiler alert, Solid Snake drops acid.
you do realise this is a Hideo Kojima title, right?
Yeah.
You've seen the trailers for Death Stranding.
You've been warned.
I'm not completely, removed from reality to know that Kojima is a nutcase, and I watched this and I'm playing this, and I have to keep reminding myself. But the problem is, he's actually really good at making just a solid military game.
Yes.
Like, I'm playing it and I'm like, this is solid. Even like the dialogue and some being that my background, I have a fairly good idea of what goes on in this world, and I'm playing it, and it feels the dialogue, the story, the details in his military game is super solid. And you're like, this alone would be an amazing game. And then every now and then, shit just gets weird. And it's at the most random times, and it's so infrequent at this point in the game. Like, I will continue to play it because I'm not very far through it at the moment. But it's batshit crazy, isn't it? It's mad.
Yeah, well, look, how about this? I've played every single Metal Gear Solid game since the PS1, so I didn't play the ones previous to that. And when Metal Gear Solid 5 was coming out, or Ground Zeroes, I posted up before they were released on our website a rundown of what's happened and the order of what games happened when. Now, I've played all of them, and I was confused. I had to research that to the hills to work out, because the games as they've been released are not in chronological order at all. So if you wanted to play them in order, you'd have to play, like the fourth one, then the second one, then the first one, and it's so confusing that anyone that thinks they know how it all works and what's happened is...
Give them an Oscar.
Give them some sort of an award, because I reckon Kojima would be a bit confused himself these days, because it's just bizarre. But the games themselves, brilliant. So much fun to play.
Yeah, look, the gameplay is solid. Like, I really like it. Like I said, once you remove the batshit crazy bits, the rest of it is like... It's super solid. It's a really good game to play. It's
Metal Gear
really
Solid.
Yeah, look, it's
super
amazing.
Solid Snake.
Yeah. So that I played that this week. I also played, and I'm going to read the title, and you're going to go, "What were you expecting?" And I'm going to say, "Not much." I played Monster Jam Crush It.
Oh, now, I've been wanting to. Where did you get that?
It was on Xbox, and it was on special for $12.
Oh, I've been wanting to try that.
It's not great.
Go for a walk, save yourself $12. Yep.
So let me put a bit of background to this. So I and my son, my 3, almost 4-year-old son, watch Monster Jam, and he loves it. He thinks it's amazing, as most 4-year-olds will. It's big trucks jumping around, they're colourful. He knows them all by name. So, and it's his birthday this week coming up. So I was just mucking around on the Xbox, and I saw it for sale for $12, and I thought, for $12, I'm just going to buy it so he can thrash around. And then I jumped on and went, you know what, I'm going to jump on, unlock everything, so when he gets there, he can just...
Out of the way, it's my go first. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. Well, to be fair, I wanted, because I know what was going to happen. He was going to get on, he's going to go, I'm going to play Grey Digger or Max D, and it's going to be like the hardest freaking thing to unlock. And he'd be disappointed because he's only got some backwater one that he sort of has seen but really doesn't know. Yeah. So I went in and I unlocked it, and all right, so it's got 3 different modes. There's the racing, the stadium arena racing. Then they have the stadium freestyle, which is what everyone knows, the jumping and the stuff. And then they've got a thing called is it called Hill Climb? I think it's called Hill Climb. And then that's broken up into 3 different types of hill climbing. And essentially what it is, I don't know if you've ever played those sort of off-roading iOS games where you've got to take a forward drive and just sort of drive it up, a bit like Trials Fusion.
Yes, I love those games on iOS, mind you. Yes.
Yep. So it's kind of like that. There'll be a course It's on rails. You just have to modulate the throttle and tilt the truck to sort of get it over the obstacles and get it across. And so there's a time attack version where you just got to do it as fast as you can. Then there's a stunt version, which will give you like a certain amount of track to do as many point jumps and get a certain amount of points by the end of the run. And then there's a survival one, which puts more obstacles and puts barrels and stuff like that to blow up to try and destroy your truck. You got to try and get it across.
Good to me.
Right? Let me start with the hill climb. The hill climb is solid. It feels good. It's a tried and tested formula, and they've done it to the letter. And because of that, it's solid. You just get to do it in all the trucks that you've seen on the TV, and it looks amazing, right? Freestyle is okay. It's the next best part of this game, and the racing is flat out terrible. And because there is no feel in the vehicle whatsoever. So what you're doing doesn't seem to translate onto what's on the screen, kind of thing. The vehicle has no feel. It feels like it's made out of polystyrene, essentially. It's worth $12. The hill climb stuff is worth the $12 just to play.
Is it still on special?
Yes, $11.99.
$11.99.
I was on the US side. It said $6. I'm like,
so
I'd pay $11.99. I wouldn't pay $40.
$12 for the next 23 hours.
Oh, I might grab it.
So look, well, by the time it's out, by the time this podcast is out, it'll be back to $40. I'm going to suggest it's not worth $40, but if it comes up on sale again, or you've got it comes on the Game of Pass or something like that, it's definitely worth a look at.
All right, I've got a couple of pieces of news that I can pump out real quick. First one is that Warframe is coming to the Switch, but there's no launch date just yet. Warframe's getting some traction lately, so that's good that it's coming to the Switch. Pat, did you tell me that Warframe had more concurrent players this week than Fortnite?
No, sorry, it was viewers on Twitch.
Oh, viewers on Twitch. That's right.
On Saturday night, there was about 500,000 people playing, watching Warframe, as opposed to 250,000 for Fortnite.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
that might have something to do with My Name is Bife switching from Destiny to Warframe at the moment.
True.
Who?
Yeah, and
major content creator.
Who is it?
And
My name is Bife.
My name is Bife.
My name is Bife. Never heard of him.
He is a lore master for Destiny. So if there's anything, if you want to argue that Destiny doesn't have a story, this guy will put you in the ground. There's thousands of hours of videos on YouTube.
I don't want to argue that it doesn't have a story. I just think it has a shit story.
It's just a shit told story.
It's a shit told story. The story that how he tells it is it's amazing.
Next up in the news, I've got Mario Kart Racetrack in Fortnite. Last week we talked about Playgrounds mode in Fortnite. Mm-hmm. And you guys were talking about all different modes that could come out of this and that. Well, somebody by the name of Josh B_C posted to the Fortnite subreddit that they'd made a Mario Kart style racetrack using the Fortnite Playground mode. There's a link to that post in the description for the podcast. But essentially, yeah, in the Playground mode, they made a track using, obviously, all the building materials, and then they raced each other around it using the shopping carts, the trolleys. That's pretty cool. It's worth having a look. Check out that link. It's pretty decent. And I played a game this week by the name of Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. Remastered. I laugh. Remastered. I laugh every time I hear that. I don't know if they tested out the name of that really well.
I don't think they did.
Because
they did. They just didn't test it in Australia.
Yeah. You look at it in writing and you go, "Oh, Mars," because it's set on Mars. That's clever. Yeah, say it out loud.
All the Aussies are going, "Oh, turd, that's heaps clever."
Remastered. Anyway, did you guys? Greg, I think you were among the Red Faction games. Did you say?
Yeah. So I played Guerrilla when it came out.
Yeah, me too.
I really enjoyed it. It was a big remove from the first two. I remember
Massive
that
change.
thinking, and I was like, I was really skeptical when I first started. I'm like, I'm not sure this is going to work for me, but it's one of those few games that has changed itself and did a really good job where I actually enjoyed playing it just as much as I kind of played the other ones.
I think Guerrilla essentially has done like what Grand Theft Auto did from Grand Theft Auto Top Down to Grand Theft Auto 3, where it changed. It was a complete change, and then you've also got God of War that's recently had a complete change in the way the game's played. Well, that's what Guerrilla did. Essentially, Red Faction 1 and 2 were a first-person shooter, where then you go to Red Faction Guerrilla, and it's a third-person game with amazing destruction mechanics.
And was an open world style.
Yeah, that's right, open world. It was a big change, big departure from the series, but it did quite well. But I think it was still very underrated. I think because I said that I played it when it was first out, which is probably not accurate. I caught it towards the end of the 360's life, so I did play it way back when.
Yep.
But I picked it up for probably $10 thinking, let's have a look at what this game is, and was pleasantly surprised at how good it is.
Yeah.
So now the remastered version of Red Faction Guerrilla is out. I got a chance to play it this week, and I'm very happy with it, but it's not one of those remastered games that you play and you go, wow, they've put a lot of time and effort into this remaster, because it's not. It essentially looks pretty much the same as it did back then on the 360 or the PS3, whatever you played it on. But it's at a higher resolution now, so it's clearer. And I was playing it in the 60 frames per second mode, so it's smooth as butter. Other than that, like they've upscaled the textures because you can play it in 84K. The lighting's been improved and particle effects have been added, but nothing stands out. You don't play it and you go, whoa, that looks amazing. You play it and you go, I remember this. This is good.
Yeah. And to be fair, it never really, even originally, it never really played on having amazing graphics. What it played off was its destruction system.
Absolutely. Like if your main weapon is a sledgehammer, and you've got also these throwable mines, remote mines, and you can fell massive buildings and they really do crumble, and you can see individual pieces. I don't actually think I've seen a better destruction mechanic in anything, unless you guys have got something in mind.
No, not really.
Not to
like
that degree.
For them, that was even from the first one, the original Red Faction, that was their selling point, was this destructible environment that they really played on that. And the levels were based around having to destroy stuff to get around.
And with respect to the actual land, so the ground, everything in that game is destructible. There's nothing that you can't break. It's super amazing. So, if you're a fan of Guerrilla, then taking a walk down memory lane isn't going to be painful because it actually plays quite well. And if you didn't catch it back then, it's probably worth playing because it is such amazing it's just fun. And it's kind of like in the review, I've put up a video review on our YouTube channel, which you can go and check out, and there'll be a link in the description as well. It's kind of like Just Cause meets Mad Max. You've got that sort of post-apocalyptic feel, and you've got that Just Cause, just go and smash everything and you'll win. It's good fun. It's actually really good for relaxation too. You can just go and just smash stuff, blow things up, So, good game. And all of the modes are intact as well. So you've got the single-player campaign, the multiplayer, the just go and wreck shit as fast as you can mode, and there's a DLC campaign mission there as well. So it's all intact.
So is it free on PlayStation at the moment?
Free?
Today?
No.
Yeah. No. See, that's the only thing that I think does hurt is the price point at the moment. At the moment on Xbox, I'm looking at it. It's $40 for the pleasure of walking down memory lane.
Yeah, I think $40 is a reasonable price for it now, but it will come down. If you're on PC and you already own Red Faction Guerrilla, it's free for the upgrade.
All right.
Yeah, so... But no, it's not free on the PlayStation or anything like that.
One thing to remember that we've spoken about in the past as a maybe in regards to these remasters coming out is that they're trying to get some coin together for a new one.
Yeah, well...
So keep that in the back of your minds.
Yeah, if they make a new one, I'll be super happy, man. Like a current-gen Red Faction? Yes, please. Rem, what about yourself?
Oh, I've been playing a few games. I've had a couple weeks to actually catch up a bit here. I finally got into Detroit.
Ah, right. Become Human.
Yeah, it's taken me long enough. I've got probably about 4 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm suitably impressed. I'm happy. While it's not, I wouldn't say it's like the best game ever, it is impressive for the graphics and gameplay. It's exactly what I expected after we saw it at the Expo a year ago. Yeah, it's really good. I'm enjoying it. I also checked out Unravel 2, which you guys talked about last week, I know.
Yes, yep.
And Captain Spirit, which was about what you'd expect.
Oh, yeah, I haven't tried that yet. I keep forgetting to try Captain Spirit out.
How far did you get?
Well, I finished the demo. So it's that first segment that they give you. Yeah. If you like Life is Strange, you'll appreciate this one. But I don't think it gives you enough to sort of really get invested into it.
The details I got was that you could play it from start to finish.
That wasn't my experience. My experience was it was basically like the first chapter. Sort of set you up with your main character, gave you an idea of what was going to happen. But what we saw previewed at E3, where he sort of imagines himself as a superhero, you don't really, at least I didn't get to the point where I was able to actually play that through. It gives you the ability to sort of come up with a few ideas of what you want your superhero to be like, given two options, but not much more than that. And then you sort of got to find your real-world items to make your own outfit. And he needs that superhero outfit to fight his fears in his own little world in reality. It's intriguing, but it's not grabbing me. It's it's probably less intriguing to me than Life is Strange, but to be fair, Life is Strange I got to play a lot more of from the get-go. So it's sort of, if you imagine that first chapter, it's sort of laying the groundwork, but it's not thoroughly exciting. That's kind of what that was to me.
Once again, I think, Rem, if I can try and translate what you're saying, this game's rubbish.
Yeah, it's not rubbish, but it's not selling itself based purely upon what it's offered me to play.
Well, not that I want to put words in your mouth, but from what I'm hearing, it's sounding like rubbish.
Fair enough.
I gave it across to my nearly 6-year-old because she wanted to play something on the computer. So I sat her in the front of the computer, showed her the controls to do, and went, there you go. And I just sat back and watched, so at least I knew what was going on.
Yeah. How did she find it, out of curiosity?
She did really well, actually, surprisingly. So I just set it up so that it was the arrow keys to walk. Mm-hmm. And then just, use the mouse to look and click and interact and all that sort of jazz. She did really well navigating around it and started asking a lot of questions like, what did that mean? That dad seems a bit mean, and, little things that you'd expect out of a 5-6-year-old. To be actually able to navigate it, she did pretty well. She made went through the whole thing of what superhero to make, how he's going to look, and she was all excited about that, then excited about trying to find things and, found his cape and all that sort of jazz. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting game in that it's, as far as its story, it seems directed toward young children, but some of the themes within the game probably don't lend themselves to a child. They are a bit confronting. As you said, her finding the dad to be a bit mean is due to not fully comprehending that.
For everyone here and anyone listening, that's I'm going to go into slight spoiler territory. One bit in particular that I moved her away from as I was playing it. I made the decision for her just because I kind of gathered, from what I'd seen and done myself, that where it was going. There was a part where when you can say to your dad, that was quick, when he chugs down a beer. And the dad goes off. I don't need you to be telling me what to do, blah, 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 blah. And that's sort of one of those themes and where it's getting.
Yeah. It has the ability to sort of steer toward quite an aggressive scenario that could be quite frightening.
Could be quite confronting for someone,
We're not getting another Todd from Detroit, are we?
No. I'm just trying to think how far it goes compared to Todd. And no.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not from what I've played anyway.
Doesn't look like it would.
No. But speaking of Detroit, I've begun my arsehole run.
Oh, nice.
So I've just started, and I've just done the first bit with the with Connor and the interrogation, and I got the little girl thrown off the off the building.
Right.
And that's the premise for this playthrough. I want to see what I can do, and just like for instance, the Todd section. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go upstairs. I'm just going to see where it goes. I'm not going to push back. I'm just going to let things happen in the most violent, terrible way that they could possibly happen. So, it's,
Detroit, scourge of humanity.
Yeah.
Hey, when the little girl goes off the edge of the building, when the little girl goes off the edge of the building, does Connor still walk off past the cops with a smug look on his face, like, I think, that's what I can do?
Yeah, I think it was like, oh, whoops.
Trust me, Android.
Didn't catch that one, did we? Yeah, I
Detroit, nowhere near human.
Yeah, walked out there with the gun pulled and went, yeah, you want to do this? And off he went.
Well.
Do you want to do this? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I thought I'd give that a crack. And that's why I'm calling it my arsehole run, because I'm literally just being an arse.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Because I'm finding even this time playing it through, I'm playing differently to how I played it when we trialled it at E3. Because I think E3,
yep.
I did everything as gently and nicely as I could to make sure that everyone got out okay, and I managed that. This time I ended up having to be a bit self-sacrificial in order to get the girl off the edge of the building, but I couldn't save the android. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you live, you learn.
Yeah,
I've gone through a few other games, just things that I haven't gotten around to playing, like Recore and Layers of Fear and a few more Game Pass games. And then I've been into quite a few iOS games.
Oh, good.
too.
Have you got some gold to give me?
Well, I mean, I mentioned to you before that I was playing Pokemon Quest, which you said you'd played previously.
Yeah, on the Switch, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the Pokemon meets Minecraft style game. I like it because it's basically Pokemon Go without me having to walk around.
Pokemon No.
Pokemon Go. Yeah, that's right.
Pokemon Stop.
It's good. I like it. And it's not a heavily demanding game, so if you have quite a busy life, which I do at the moment with the 3 kids, it sort of fits well into that. It doesn't demand my time in order to progress. Says that. I also tried Steppy Pants. Do you guys remember, did you ever play, I think it was called Chicken Shout or something? You had to shout into your phone to make the chicken move across the screen.
No.
I never played it, but yeah, I've seen it.
You have to play this game. It's great. It's so good.
Anyway, it's watching a 3-year-old play it.
Yeah, better yet, watch someone else playing it. That's even funnier.
Yes.
There was one guy who played that, and he sang "Staying Alive" all the way through it.
Oh,
and
Steppy
it
Pants.
So well.
I've played Steppy Pants.
Yeah, so Steppy Pants is made by the same people, but it's, you got to tap the screen to take steps, and depending on how long you leave your finger on the screen is how big a step you're going to take. And the idea is to not topple and you have to step. It's basically don't step on the cracks of the pavement in an iOS game. Is if you step on a crack, it's over. Your character's done, and you've got to start again. And the checkpoints are quite far apart, so it becomes really challenging. I've raged so much at this game. Once they start introducing TNT on some of the pavement, you end up like taking the smallest fraction of a step and your toe just slips over the crack and you just blow yourself up.
And you can race your friends too.
Yeah, you can try and do speed runs on it. Oh, it's hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna race you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. So that one's good. Also, Inside, which was an amazing game on Xbox, they've now got on mobile as well. It transfers really well, actually. You're basically dragging your thumb back and forth on the screen to make your character move left and right and jump over obstacles and all that sort of stuff. Probably the other one that really stuck out to me was Dan the Man, which is it's a 2016 game that I sort of missed, but it's a platformer brawler with a bit of a nostalgic feel to it. So you've got your buttons on the screen for left, right. You've got your punch button, and you get a shoot button and a jump button at this point. It's a lot of fun. It's easy to play, and it's, like I said, it's very, very nostalgic. So, there's old platformer games where you'd like jump up into the clouds and like secret platforms will load for you to jump on to get to loot in the sky or something like that. Yeah, it does all those sorts of things, all those old school tricks, and easy to play. You get to a certain point, you can make your own custom character. Yeah, ton of fun. So that one's worth a look if you guys are interested.
Yeah, I've already downloaded all of the games you've suggested.
I was gonna suggest Laser Kitty Pow Pow, but that one just I couldn't get into that one.
Laser Kitty Pow Pow.
Laser Kitty Pow Pow. It's a shooter.
You have the name.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that looks insanely amazing, and it's full on. So you've got this cat that floats around on the screen, and you can move left and right, and you've got to shoot enemies that come from the left and right of the screen. But if you get too close to them, you die. So you've got to sort of you've got to make sure you take them out fast enough that they don't get to you. And it just becomes insane. You've got lasers going everywhere, all over the screen. You can barely see what's going on. But it's fun. It's worth a look.
I'll give him a go.
If you like crazy.
Sounds good. All right, let's move into gaming alphabet. All right, so this is the game that I brought to the table. Can't really say that I invented it, but more so just created it into a video game version. Now, if you guys remember, we played it last time, a few episodes ago, where we did video game names?
Titles, I think.
Titles? Yep,
titles.
This time we're doing video game character names. Okay?
Oh, that is harder.
So, might be easier, might be harder, who knows. We've got 3 lives. If you pass and can't think of one, we'll obviously Google one or the name or something like that, and you'll lose a life. And whoever's got the most lives remaining at the end, or the only person left if we don't make it to the end, is the winner. Now, there's probably some weird loopholes that I haven't thought of, but whatever. I'll make up the rules as we go. Winner will receive a GTX 1060 graphics card.
From wish.com.
From wish.com.
From wish.com, that's right.
Nice. I need one of those. I got a shelf that needs dusting.
Dusty, yes. Oh, dear. All right, so who would like to go first with the letter A?
Arbiter.
Arbiter, okay, from Halo.
Yep.
And I'll go second with B. Banjo. Snoogs or Rem?
Crane.
Crane.
Yeah.
Okay, Crane from Dying Light. Rem, that gives you D.
Ooh, I can't believe I'm already struggling on the first one.
And you've already suggested a D in this podcast already.
Yeah.
Have I?
Yep. It was the one I just thought of. But I should be thinking about my next one, which is E.
Oh, wow, that's terrible.
Come on.
Wow. How am I struggling with this? All I can think is
Quick.
Drake?
I'll do.
Sure, that works.
I'll take Drake. You were almost timed out then. I gave you a lot more time than we're going to give from now on.
Okay.
Right,
Can't believe you didn't say Duke Nukem.
Oh, yeah.
Emma,
I didn't mention that. You did.
Anyway,
are we up? Are we back to me now? We are now, hey.
no, me. I
Greg.
was for Ezio.
Ezio. Very good. So I've got F. Oh, shit. Oh, no.
How much time are we giving you?
As much as Rem got. Oh no, brain just stops working, eh? This game sucks.
Who came up with this?
Oh, there'd be 1,000 of them too. F is a big. Oh, I'm gonna have to cop a life here. That is ridiculous, and there'll be 1,000. I know there'll be 1,000 of them. Oh, all right, give us one. That's it. I'll bow out. That's terrible. Have you guys got one?
No, I'm too busy thinking about my next one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I should Google one.
Does Frogger count?
I would have accepted that. Okay. Frogger. All right. I've lost a life. Snoogs, I think. G.
Gordon Freeman.
Gordon Freeman.
Yeah,
yep,
nice.
Very good. Rem. H.
Handsome Jack.
Yeah, I'll take that. Greg. I.
Ikora Ray.
What?
Ikora Ray.
Destiny.
From Destiny.
I'll take your word for it.
You have to. The other two people agree with me.
Yeah. And is it me now?
Yep.
Joker? Then that goes to Pat with K.
K. Kane?
Kane, yeah, Kane.
He's from Mortal Kombat?
No,
that's Kano.
no, that's Kano.
Oh, no, it's with a K still. That's a K still.
Yeah.
It's still a K, but he said the wrong name.
Kano.
I would have accepted. If you just said Kane, I would have went, yep, from Kane and Lynch. But no, you said Kane from Mortal Kombat.
Or Kratos.
Oh, he's tough. I thought you were thinking
Cool.
Kane from Command and Conquer.
That too. You just should have stuck with Kane.
Fine, you know what? Kane can start off because we're going to go with Kratos. Okay?
Who are we going with?
Kratos.
Kratos. Okay. L.
Oh, I've got two. Which one to use? Lara Croft.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't.
You don't need to use.
I know. It's rare. I actually can't with more than one.
We're not going to come back around to L again. There's only once in the alphabet. Greg, you got M.
Master Chief.
Master Chief. Very good. N. I hate this game. Is Nick Fury? I'm taking it. I accept it. He's in game. Pat O.
Oh.
Yeah, Kazakyle said from Lego Avengers. That's right. Pat's after an O name. Oh, O's a hard one. Yeah, Kaz has got my back. Oh man, that's a hard one.
Ori.
Nice.
Ah, very good. Yeah, very good. Rem P.
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Very good.
Pika Pika.
Oh, Greg gets Q.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Oh. Oh, man. What the hell?
Fuck is that?
What the hell is that?
That's some thinking music, thanks to.
I think we've got to leave. I think there's the fire alarm.
I'm happy to leave.
Yeah, well, it's your
Let's just
turn.
end the game and go. Sorry, that's too bad. I would have had something too. Cubit.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very good. Okay, I'm up to R.
I think that'll help with the tiebreaker too. I don't think anyone's older than Qbert so far.
Oh no, I'm bad at this tonight. Oh. Rico? Rico, what was that his name? Oh, what's the guy's name from Just Cause? Was it Rico?
Isn't that your job?
Well, I can't exactly have the answers up if I'm going to play, can I? That's cheating.
To be fair, I can tell you.
Oh, is that the run out of time thing, is it?
That's run out of time.
No, well, I said Rico. Is that right, though?
I don't know.
I think it is. We'll give it to you.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll take it. Beautiful. I'm losing anyway.
You could have just said Ryu too.
No, I could have.
Right.
Yeah, it's Rico Rodriguez. That's right. Click. It just.
It's a double R.
It is, yeah. That's double points.
Nah, you wouldn't give me a second one.
Pat.
S. Sonic.
Nice.
I'll accept that one on a technicality.
Why?
What technicality is that? I'm curious.
It's my game. I'll make technicalities out of anything.
I think we're finding holes in this game.
Yeah, I'm in charge. That's the biggest hole. Rem, T. Toad. Yes, very good. Mario and Toad. Greg, you.
Oh, man, I got the good ones, huh?
Is it getting hard?
Here I am struggling with reasonable letters, and you're getting these horrible ones.
All right. I'm gonna stretch it here, and I'm gonna see how well you guys let this slide. Can I say Urus, as in the Lamborghini Urus in Forza? Because it's technically a character.
It's not a character. It's a car.
But it's still a character in the game.
No, it's not.
You play.
No.
You play as.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're playing as an imaginary driver.
All right. So that one didn't slide.
No.
And anyone that agrees with me, let him know in Discord.
Yes. Go ahead. It's not going to change the outcome of the game, so go nuts.
Yeah. You know what? I'm taking a life because there's no way I can think of a U. I can't think of one. That's.
You know what? I would have accepted the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yep, fair enough.
From all those wrestling games.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is that me now with V?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on! I've got the name. It's there. I can't think of it. I know it. It's right there. It's that Diablo kind of game. Oh, this game sucks for me. Why did I choose to do this? This is torture. I should have chose a game I'm good at. Shut up. That doesn't go off when you're thinking. Oh, Victor Vran. Victor Vran. There we go. That's the one I'm trying to think of. W.
Waluigi.
No, not accepting that. You got to say it right.
Sorry. Did you do my Australian accent getting away, or?
Yeah, say it again.
Whatever.
You don't know how to say it? Wario. Hey, you're cheating now. Kazar, stop it. No. What was the first one you said?
Hey?
What was the first one you said?
Is it what? I don't know how to say it. Waluigi. I don't know. I played cool games growing up like Sonic.
All right, let's go. We'll put a pause on the game for a second. Say Luigi.
Luigi.
Now say Wa.
Wa.
Now say Wa Luigi.
Wa Luigi.
Yay! Now say iOS.
No, that was the wrong way. She said nope.
Nope.
iOS.
Nvidia.
Nope.
I think we're up to Rem with W.
X for me.
Oh, sorry. We had just said. You should have just said Waluigi.
Waluigi. Mario.
X. Sorry.
X. I'm gonna go with Tekken and say Ying Xiao Yu.
Okay, is that how it's said? I'm glad you could pronounce it.
Ying Xiao Yu.
I've probably been saying that wrong for years. Great.
Only because I've heard
me?
Ying Xiao
No,
Yu
Gretch.
wins.
It's me.
Ah.
Do we really need to do the last two? Because then that's just a half a round for us. But I'm going to say
You're
Yoshi anyway.
Yoshi, and I'm going to say Zool.
Zool. There is no Dana, only Zool.
So how do we work out who wins between...
So
Rem.
last time the tiebreaker was whoever had the oldest title of the two people tying.
Yeah, but I didn't make any notes about that.
I'm saying Greg said that because he thinks he's got the oldest one.
No, well, I'm
No.
out. So yeah,
He's
so it's
out.
between you and Pat.
True.
It's between you and Pat.
Yeah. Do we flip a coin? Oh, no. I forgot to read out this last rule. It says here, in the event of a tie, Lucas wins.
To be fair, in the event of a tie, we should have made them do the two leftover letters.
Yes, that probably would have been.
Well, let's go through the alphabet again. Who was next? Rem, was it?
No, Pat.
Pat. A.
We should make them do it again.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah. We're not.
First person to falter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're not doing it. You and me, Greg.
Yeah,
It's just
cool.
Pat.
All
Pat.
right, cool.
A.
A la carte.
What? That's a restaurant.
A la carte. A la carte.
A la carte.
Yes.
Is that a real character? I will check that later. Is it right? I'll take your word for it. Is it? Or you have me on?
Castlevania.
Okay. That's Thus We See. And that's the name of a game. Rem, let it be.
Bomberman.
Yeah, I think the second B is silent, but yeah, okay.
I do what I want.
Yes, very good.
Cash me outside.
Pat, C.
Can't say cash me outside. I use that one.
Did you get that one? Cloud from Final Fantasy.
No, I didn't hear that. Okay, Rem, D.
You got D again.
You got D again. She loves the D.
I technically wasn't playing before, so you can maybe use.
No, that
can't
feels like
reuse.
cheating. That feels like cheating.
It is.
I'm
But it
gonna say
wasn't
Donkey
used in
Kong.
the game.
Donkey Kong, that'll do. Pat for E.
Oh. Did we say Ezio before?
We didn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was mine.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry, Pat. I was about to accept it.
It.
Oh, are we about to have a winner?
I don't know. I'm like looking around my office at all my crap on the walls. Where?
Oh, I've got a whole bunch of games I should have been looking at. I'm too busy writing down the letters.
Nah, I've got it. No,
Oh, Ram. Well done. Woo.
2 in a row.
Yeah, did you win last time?
I did, yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good. Hey, I can't find the sound effect for a fanfare, so I'll add it later.
Just imagine fanfare.
Yeah, it goes something like do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Wrong kind of fanfare.
Yeah, not that
Oh.
one. All right, congratulations to Reb. You are the winner of this episode's Gaming Alphabet. We'll be back with that one in a few weeks' time, maybe. We'll bring it back.
Maybe.
I'm gonna...
Once Lucas forgets how bad the game is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Forgets how bad I am at the game. Oh, damn. All right, let's go on to the next segment, which is called What's That Sound? Okie dokie. So last week we had this one, which was a little off-putting to some people. A lot of people knew it was one of two, but then they always went for the wrong one. I think you did the same thing, Greg.
Yeah, I totally did that.
Yeah. Had Adam Johns sent in his answer to the page, but I think it only released yesterday, so there might be a few people that message us through the week. Sorry about that, but this was last week's What's That Sound? There you go, and that was actually asteroids. That was your second guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was split between Space Invaders and asteroids, and you made me pick one, and I picked the wrong one.
Yeah, and Kazakal's just done the exact same thing and said Space Invaders.
I can see why, though.
But I'm pretty sure he got it right last week. He actually said the right thing last week. So even now he's split it. Was it Kaza or was it... no, it wasn't Kaza. Wasn't it Radicus that got it? Oh, sorry. No, you're right. It was Radicus last week. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, that's right, because he was like, in his 20s when that came out.
All right, anyway, let's have a listen to this week's What's That Sound and see if you can nail this one.
Well, that was violent.
Violent?
Yeah. Sounded violent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It sounded explodey, but I'm not sure what from.
Play it again, Sam. All right, I'm going to have a crack.
Okay.
Is it Red Faction Gorilla?
No. Good guess. Good guess.
Yeah, I was trying to channel my inner Lucas.
No, you know what? The whole Lucas brings What's That Sound from something that's relevant to his week? No, not this week. Nothing to do with me this week.
Because you didn't pick it.
No, I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it hasn't nothing to do with me.
Is it a startup sound?
It's not a startup sound, no. Kazakal says Alien vs Predator. No, it's not Alien vs Predator. Sorry. Snoogs, did you say something while I was talking?
I was going to say it kind of sounds like a logo coming in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's not. Can confirm that's incorrect. Have another listen. It absolutely does sound like that, though, Snoogs. I agree with that, but it's not.
Is it the Hunter special on Destiny?
No.
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 No, it's not that.
The lightning staff thing? No?
Yeah, no. I have a funny feeling it's like a weapon going off.
Yeah, it sounds like a gun to me, like something that makes something... I'm picturing like prey or something like that, where it like pulverizes something and makes it disappear. That's sort of where I'm going. But
I like the ways they're trying to work it out.
So like an EMP going off or a gun that's designed to blow something up quite...
Yeah.
It's not from Dead Space.
Sorry?
It's obviously not from Prey either.
No, it's not from Prey. It's not from Dead Space. Kazakal suggested Dead Space. And it's not from Black Ops 3, no. I haven't played this game this week. Or for a few weeks.
I think you've stumped us this week.
Very good. It's guys might be kicking yourselves when you find out. It's not from God of War, no. All right, well, if you're playing along at home and you think you know what this week's What's That Sound is, send us a message to our Facebook page and you may be the recipient of a free game for your troubles and a little bit of a thank you for listening to us. Tricky one this week. All right, let's move on to the next segment, which is called Tech Headland. All right, so this week's topic, we're talking about HDR. Does anybody in the class think they know what HDR stands for? Are you passing notes around?
Yeah. Putting me on the spot, probably more like.
Oh, Ram, you're the budding photographer. You've got to know what that stands for.
Yes, I do, but my brain has gone blank tonight. I've already had a Black Russian, so it's not helping.
A black Russian. No wonder you married Grejio.
To be fair, she was a better drinker before she married me.
Oh,
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
3 kids does put the tolerance down somewhat.
Oh dear, normally it turns you into an alco. But anyway, let's keep moving. Hey?
Range. HDR is high dynamic range, where it takes the higher range of light that you see and makes it more vibrant.
Did you just Google that?
No, I'm a photographer as well.
Oh, you are too. That's right. I forgot you're a budding photog as well. Look, I did a lot of research for this because HDR sort of baffled a bit. Like, I understand HDR in photography. It's a little bit easier to understand. It takes a bright image and it takes a dark image and it puts them together to make a nice, realistic looking image with the lighting and the exposure. But
Yeah, it's about trying to capture more detail.
yeah, but
in the image.
in like HDR, what I'm talking about tonight is HDR in television screens. While it does have the same name, they're two very different processes. So I've learned, and I got a bit of information from this website, which I think I've got to put in the podcast description if you want to check out a little bit more detail on HDR. But it's out there. Everybody's talking about HDR. It's like one of the next best things with our consoles. Even the PS4 standard one and the Xbox standard does HDR these days if you've got a HDR TV. And it's becoming sort of more available, like the content where we've got Netflix and ultra high definition Blu-rays adopting HDR, but I didn't prior to today, didn't really sort of understand how does it work? What is this bloody HDR? But HDR refers to a display's range of contrast from very bright whites to very dark blacks. And often on non-HDR screens, to display a bright white, a picture will turn, it changes like the blacks to a murky grey, rather and does the opposite as well. Whereas if you're contrasting your screen to show the blacks really dark, it'll make your brights really dull. And what a HDR does, it has the ability to mix bright colours and tones with super dark images at the same time without washing the other one out. So what it does, it's sort of like a per pixel thing. I'll go into it a little bit more. I've got some other things to mention. But a HDR TV can expand the range of both contrast and colour significantly, which is essentially gives you a better picture, just like in photography. But how does it work? Here we got it. Now, I've put this sentence together, this little paragraph, to try and make sense of it. Tell me if this makes sense. The simplest way to explain is when talking about changing the contrast of an image using like a slider. On your TV, you can go into the settings and change the contrast. And usually you would move the slider up and down and the whole image would change contrast. Yep. With a HDR TV, the creator of the HDR content has the ability to adjust that contrast of the image on a pixel by pixel basis, meaning that when adjusting a part of an image, the rest of the screen isn't affected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so they can adjust the contrast of a pixel rather than the whole screen gets changed if you change the contrast. But that's the thing, it's at the whim of the content creator though, so you can't really do it yourself. It needs to be HDR content that is played through your display. So that's the magic behind it. Is it still worth your time, though? That's the thing. I personally, at the moment, I don't bother with HDR because I think, for me in my household, it's a little bit before its time because while it is beautiful, there's too many accessibility issues there. Like, you need to have the display that supports it. You also, for me, I plug my consoles, so Xbox and PlayStation that support HDR, they go into my surround sound, so I can get surround sound. But that doesn't have HDR pass-through because when that thing was made, HDR didn't exist in video. So that's an issue. I'd have to plug it directly into the TV and lose my surround sound. Also,
ports.
Sorry?
With the new TVs, only certain ports actually carry the HDR signal.
Oh, is that a fact? I didn't know that.
And there's more than one version of HDR as well.
Yes, that's true, which makes it even more confusing. Even the PlayStation VR, if you want, well, the Gen 1 PSVR as well, doesn't have HDR pass-through. Doesn't have 4K pass-through either, which is really annoying, so you got to unplug. So it sort of gets to the point where you're like, oh, is HDR worth the effort and time to get this sort of picture? Now, I've played using HDR before, and some games it looks absolutely brilliant. But that's another one of the issues, is that you're at the whim of the content creator. Because some games, the HDR is rubbish. And it pays to turn it off because it looks terrible. You've also got issues with the PlayStation 4. If you've got HDR turned on, the recorder, if you're recording your gameplay on the PlayStation, the colours all messed up. There are so many issues with it. Do any of you guys use HDR at all?
Nope.
No. My monitor supports it.
Yeah.
But I'm running it through a capture card, so it doesn't have pass-through.
Yeah,
but earlier this year, when I had the One X to try that I'd made a few videos for, I plugged that into my 4K TV into the HDR port, and that's where it was made very clear to me that my TV, which is 12 months old, it's or maybe a little bit older than that, it doesn't have the same version of HDR.
Yeah.
So therefore, anyway, there you go.
Yeah, HDR. There needs to be like a standard. This whole having all these different versions and some are better, some are worse. It's rubbish. I think HDR in 2018 at least is more trouble than it's worth. It's really a pain. Now that I understand exactly what it is, I can take it or leave it. Really, it does make things look a bit nicer, but it's not a game breaker. Sorry, go.
We're talking about like centimeters. We're not talking about meters of difference here. So
yes.
It's
HDR is in the detail.
Yep.
What was that?
The difference is in the detail.
Yeah.
So when you say that there's a big difference between it on a TV and in a photo, it's actually just the way that the TV processes it is where it's different. The actual,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the actual high dynamic range itself is exactly the same. Yeah,
it's the same end result.
Yeah,
one of the completely different process
that I can describe it being done was within a photo that was taken. So 2 photos were taken, one at the low end, one at the high end, and it was taken in a cockpit of an aeroplane. So looking out from the cockpit out the front windows. So the 2 different pictures were taken. One was taken where it got all the images outside of the plane, so the sky, the clouds, the plane was on the ground, so I've got some treetops, blah blah blah. The other one was the darker areas inside the plane, and then it meshed the 2 of them together.
Mm-hmm.
It works the same way on the TV, where it just gives you that extra bit of detail that you can see in both levels. In all levels of that dynamic range.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a very small change.
Yeah.
And especially with, the TVs and the frame rates that we've got at the moment, you're not really going to notice a huge amount.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You're not.
It's one of those things that they plaster on the boxes for new TVs that they try to sell with, but it's, as far as I'm concerned, I can take it or leave it. It's more trouble than it's worth. Last thing I've written here as a note is I find it's just easier to turn it all off. What else have I got here? Nope, gone through all that. That's it for HDR for me. I understand what it is now, and I know that I don't care about it. As simple as that. Alright, well that's it for Tech Headland. Now, what I'm proposing that we do, so just a heads up for those that are listening, not killing off Tech Headland, but it just may not be a weekly feature, just for the sake of fitting in other segments. So there might be some weeks where we don't do it. So, yeah, not sure. But the next one we do will be on 4K gaming.
Do.
I love you, Pat.
Remastered.
Oh, brilliant. All right, well, let's finish up there. That was Tech Headland. Let's move into last words. All right, Pat. First thing in last words, let's find out who the said that. Now I can say that. It makes sense.
Now, who the did say that? Who said a sword wields no strength unless the hands that hold it has courage? Anyone drop in as they were going through the show?
Is it Film for Honor?
No.
No, I was thinking something else. I mean, I know why Grejio went that way with swords and stuff. To me, thinking about swords during the podcast, I'm going, the most iconic sword I can think of is the one that Zelda pulls out of a stone. So I sort of thought maybe it might be from... Sorry, Link. Zelda pulls... Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. It's from the Hero's Shade from Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Oh, so it was right. Well done. I think...
Yeah.
Nice work.
Is that the first time one of us has actually got who the said that?
Possibly. I think we've got one before, but I can't remember which one.
Oh, well done.
Last week's one, I think.
Did he?
Last week's?
Was it?
Yeah, Last of Us. Last week's one.
I did.
Oh, my one. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
That's right.
I got that one. Yeah.
How good's my memory? I do have a headache right now.
Dude, I won it and I don't remember.
Yeah, good.
It was like, oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Okay.
We got On the Run in the chat, and he says, just about to go and buy a 4K TV for Sea of Thieves and Forza 7. Man,
make sure it's got HDR.
No, don't worry about the HDR, dude. Have you got? Tell me you got an Xbox One X. Because if you got an Xbox One X, you're going to get a nice, beautiful surprise when you get that 4K telly. I'll tell you what, it's going to be beautiful.
Make sure refresh rate.
What?
The refresh rate. Make sure it's quick.
Yeah, what do you want? 200, I think, hertz or something? 200. I think.
Yeah, that'll work.
200, 250 is good.
On that.
I think 200 refresh rate on those tellies. I don't know. But yes, he has got an X. All right. Well, yeah, 4K telly is going to go really nicely with that. All right. This week I found a website, and it was on the internet. Believe it or not.
Did it make you keep your pants on?
It had nothing to do with my pants. Nothing.
All right,
It's called
you can continue.
Random.
It was late at night. Pretty off.
It was earlier today. Shut up. Random word generator, and I'm now going to be using that for the code word. So this week's code word.
Edit.
Huh?
Edits at the ready for a random word generator.
Nah, it's a good word. Carbon resolution. Not carbon resolution, just the two. Carbon resolution.
I was.
See, if we'd stuck with my process of coming up with passwords or code words, I just would have said pants time.
Okay, there's two code words this week.
Because that's how I used to do it. I just go get to the last words, and I'd find something in there, and just go, that can be it.
What was it? Pants what?
Pants time. Just because we were talking about you keeping your pants on, or
Okay,
whether they were off for.
There's two code words this week. There's carbon resolution and pants time.
Wow.
That's going to show...
We're really pushing our viewership right now. You realize that?
Aren't you guys lucky?
These are the people that have gotten this far and gone, I've got to remember 4 words.
They could do either or either.
Either or either. How about you can use one or the other, but use your favourite.
Use your favourite.
Ooh, vote now. Vote 1 for...
Reg is getting competitive.
Me? Competitive? I don't think
Yeah.
that's ever happened
No.
in the last 30 seconds.
5 seconds, yeah.
Not in the last couple of years anyway, because you're an Xbox fan.
Doesn't stop me from being competitive.
I'm a bandwagon jumper. I'm all Team Xbox right now. What's that? Xbox is cool again. It's got a really powerful console. Yeah! I'm an Xbot. Whoop whoop. Give me a green cap. What's a PlayStation?
It's all right. We all know which camp you'll be in. The one that gives you minimum 60 frames, and that'll be it.
Yes.
That's all you'll talk about.
Absolutely. That's what will win my heart in the end. Kazakyle says call 1-800-8008-132 or 1-800-BOOBIES. Oh, Kazakyle, let me know when you turn 12, buddy.
It's only $4.99 a minute.
Oh, dear. All right, I need to go take some drugs. What? See that bloody
We happy few. What the hell, man?
I got a headache. I need to pop some.
We've broken
some joy.
We've broken the board, man.
Yep,
they made the right decision to begin with, and we yelled at them, and then they changed their mind, and now Lucas is an addict.
I just got another headache. All right, any other last words?
No.
Nope.
No. All right, fantastic.
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you very much to everyone who has listened to the show, and especially to those that are still listening this far along. Also to you guys listening live as well. Thanks a lot. Special guests once again to Remutha, Snoogs, and Grejio for your hard work and efforts for this week's show. To all of our listeners, feel free to continue any of the topics that we have discussed on this week's show on our Facebook page or Discord channel. Links are in the podcast show notes and description. That's all from me, and as always, I am Lucas.
I'm Rem.
I'm Grejio.
And I have been Snoogs.
Bye.
Peace.
Toodaloo. Well, here we are once again at the end of this week's show. If you're still hungry for more video game content, then head over to the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page and give us a like. We also have a heavy presence over on Twitter and YouTube, and their links are waiting for you in the podcast description. This podcast is available for your convenience through Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and more. Thanks again for listening. Catch you all on the next episode of the Aussie Gamers Express Video Game Podcast.